The first thing he noticed was the sound of quiet crying coming from the corner booth, the kind of crying people make when they think no one can hear them. It stopped him mid-step, his phone still in his hand with the dating app open, her profile picture smiling back at him. For a second, he wondered if he had the wrong place. Then he saw her. The woman from the photo sat there in a tailored coat that probably cost more than his monthly rent, her shoulders shaking as she pressed her fingers to her eyes. He had no idea that walking toward that booth would change both of their lives forever. And before this story ends, you'll understand why sometimes the strongest hearts break in the quietest ways. If stories like this move you, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel, because every small click helps keep these real, emotional stories alive. Ethan paused, unsure whether to approach or give her privacy. He was a single dad, used to awkward moments and second-guessing himself. His life was a careful balance of night shifts, school drop-offs, and stretching every dollar until it begged for mercy. Blind dates weren't really his thing, but his sister had insisted. "You deserve happiness too," she'd said, pushing him to create a profile. He'd almost canceled when he saw how polished and confident the woman looked online. She seemed out of his league. But now, seeing her like this, something in him softened. He cleared his throat gently. "Hi, I'm Ethan. Are you okay?" She looked up, startled, her eyes red and glossy. For a moment, embarrassment flickered across her face, and she wiped her cheeks quickly, forcing a small, broken smile. "I'm sorry. I didn't mean for you to see that." Her voice was calm, but there was a crack beneath it, like glass under pressure. "You must think I'm a mess." He shook his head immediately. "No, I think you're human." The words came out before he could overthink them. "And if you want, we don't have to talk about it. We can just sit." Something about that made her exhale, as if she'd been holding her breath for a long time. "Thank you," she whispered. "Please, sit." They ordered coffee, and for a few minutes, they talked about safe things. Weather, traffic, how crowded the cafe was. Ethan told her about his daughter, Lily, and how she insisted on wearing mismatched socks because rules are boring. That earned him a real smile from her, the kind that reaches the eyes. She introduced herself as Claire. She didn't mention her job, and neither did he. For the first time in a long while, Ethan felt normal. Not poor, not struggling, just a man having coffee with a woman who laughed at his jokes. But beneath Claire's laughter, there was something heavy. Ethan could sense it. Years of being tired had taught him how to read people, especially the kind of tired that sleep can't fix. Eventually, the silence returned, thicker this time. Claire stared into her cup, her fingers tightening around it. "I should probably tell you," she said quietly. "I'm not usually like this." Ethan shrugged gently. "None of us usually are. Life just catches us on the wrong day sometimes." Her eyes filled again, and she shook her head. "No, it's more than that." She leaned closer, her voice dropping to a whisper, as if the walls might hear. "I almost didn't come today. I thought canceling would be easier." "What made you come?" he asked. She swallowed hard. "Because I'm tired of being alone in a room full of people." The words hit him harder than he expected. He knew that feeling. The nights after Lily fell asleep, when the apartment felt too quiet. The moments when he smiled for her sake while worrying about bills he couldn't afford yet. He nodded slowly. "Yeah, I get that." Claire studied him for a long moment, as if deciding whether to trust him. Then she took a deep breath. "Ethan, I need to tell you something, because if I don't, this won't be fair to either of us." She leaned even closer, and when she whispered, her words shattered the fragile warmth between them. "I'm the CEO of a company with thousands of employees. And today, I found out I'm about to lose everything." For a second, he didn't know what to say. CEO. The word felt unreal next to his own life of secondhand clothes and overdue notices. But what struck him wasn't the title. It was the pain in her voice. "Lose everything how?" he asked softly. Her laugh was hollow. "A hostile takeover. My own board. People I trusted." Her eyes brimmed again. "I built that company from nothing. I sacrificed everything. Relationships. Family. My chance at having kids. And now," her voice broke. "Now they're pushing me out, and I don't even know who I am without it." Ethan felt something twist in his chest. He had nothing to compare it to, yet somehow, he understood the fear of losing the one thing that gave your life structure. That sounds terrifying, he said honestly. She nodded, tears slipping free. And you know the worst part? She leaned in until only he could hear her. Everyone thinks I'm strong. They think I don't need anyone. But right now, I've never felt so small. That was the moment his heart cracked. Not because she was rich. Not because she was powerful. But because pain didn't care about status. He reached across the table without thinking, resting his hand near hers, not touching, just close enough to offer comfort. You're not small, he said. You're hurting. There's a difference. Their eyes met, and something unspoken passed between them. For the rest of the afternoon, they talked. Real talk. About fear. About failure. About the pressure of being responsible for others. Ethan admitted how hard it was raising Lily alone, how every choice felt like it could shape her entire future. Claire listened, truly listened, like no one had listened to him in years. When they finally stood to leave, the sky outside had darkened. Claire hesitated by the door. I know this might sound strange, she said, but today meant more to me than you realize. He smiled sadly. Me too. They exchanged numbers, but as Ethan walked home, reality crept back in. She was a CEO. Even if she lost everything, her world was still galaxies away from his. He told himself not to hope. But hope is stubborn. Over the next weeks, they met again. Walks in the park, simple dinners, conversations that stretched late into the night. Claire never treated him like he was less. Ethan never treated her like she was more. For a while, it felt like something real was growing. Something safe. Until one evening, Claire showed up at his apartment, her face pale. They finalized it, she said. I'm officially out. Ethan pulled her into a hug as she broke down, sobbing into his worn jacket. You'll get through this, he whispered, even as his own heart ached. She pulled back, tears streaming. That's the problem, Ethan. I don't know if I can. She looked around his small apartment, at Lily's drawings taped to the fridge, at the warmth despite the lack of money. You have something I don't, she said softly. A reason. A family. He shook his head. You could have that too. With time. Her eyes filled with a different kind of pain. No, I can't. She stepped closer and whispered the words that shattered him completely. I can't have children. I found out years ago. And I never told you because I was afraid you'd walk away. The room felt like it tilted. Ethan's breath caught. He loved his daughter more than life itself. His dreams were wrapped around her. And yet, looking at Claire, broken and brave and honest, he felt torn. In two. Why would you think I'd walk away? He asked, his voice shaking. Because you deserve someone who can give you everything, she said, tears falling freely. And I can't. His heart broke not because she couldn't give him more children, but because she believed she wasn't enough. He took her face in his hands gently. Claire, he said, his voice thick with emotion, you already are enough.